December 5th, 2024. Recording secretary, can you please conduct roll call?
Commissioner Jogway,
Present.
Commissioner Diaz, Commissioner Nelson, Commissioner Reyes,
Present.
Commissioner Wu,
Present.
Vice Chair Thomas,
Here.
Chair Herrera,
Here.
you have a quorum.
Thank you so much, recording secretary. The first thing on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Can you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Great. Next on the agenda are presentations for employees of the month and volunteers of the quarter. Commissioner Reyes, would you like to go first?
Sure. This recognition of Employee of the Month, it's for Eduardo Eri Alvarado. He's been with the city for 1 year. His position is maintenance attendant, and his supervisor is Juan Lara. Eduardo Eri Alvarado is currently assigned to Santa Ana Senior Center as a maintenance attendant. Eri goes above and beyond to ensure our facility is ready to go for classes, monthly celebrations, and day-to-day operations. He ensures our center is clean and well kept at all times to provide a welcoming experience for our seniors. Without hesitation, Eri is always willing to jump in and assist with our weekend Santa Ana Senior Club reservations. Finally, Eri's positive and can-do attitude shines every day. He has proven to be a dependable employee and exceeds expectations. It is with great honor that I nominate Eduardo Eri Alvarado for Employee of the Month, as he consistently delivers high-quality work and makes a positive impact in the lives of our seniors and his peers. Yay, Eri.
Thank you so much, Eddie. Commissioner Jogway, would you like to read the Employee of the Month, please?
This one's for November. So this Employee of the Month is for Tanya Flores. Tanya is a program leader 1. She's been with the city for 6 months, pretty recent, but she's been doing a great job. And Tanya's been part of the zoo education department since May 2024. She has shown great enthusiasm for connecting with the community and growing her skills and working with guests of all ages. Over the fall, Tanya volunteered to help the Nature in Action program, visiting Santa Ana community centers to present high-quality interactive program to youth at the center. These programs involve extensive planning and coordination with coworkers, building connections, flexibility, and time management, and working with the excited youth. Thanks, Tanya, for your enthusiasm and sharing with our team and community.
Thank you, Tanya. Commissioner Wu, would you like to read one of the Employees of the Month?
Employee of the Month in November is Adrian Zambroli. He has been with the city for 1 year. Adrian is a hard worker with a desire to serve. Since starting at the city, Adrian has worked in multiple special events and taken on increasing responsibilities. He works especially well with children and in general public, and can even be seen as Tama, the golden-headed lion tamarin monkey. He is a good friend to his colleagues and always lends a helping hand. When he is not driving around in his special events van, you can see him dancing in the rails for the park IG. Recently, Adrian accepted his second job at the happiest place on earth and adopted a super kitten. His willingness to learn and his positive attitude makes him an excellent candidate for the PRCSA Employee of the Month. Thank you very much, Adrian. Can we volunteer?
Yes, you can go ahead and read the volunteer ones.
Okay, the volunteer of the quarter is Tori Hampton. Tori has been a volunteer at the zoo since December of 2023, contributed over 215 hours to the education department. Tori is always ready to lend a helping hand in the office with guests in the zoo and during special events. She has truly come out of her shell and taken the lead at active stations during the events and mostly recently joining the Zoo Explorers program. The team presents engaging educational stations for visiting school groups. Tori is an enthusiastic, friendly volunteer who truly supports the staff projects and adds to the guest experience at the zoo. Zoo staff are very excited to nominate Tori Hampton for Volunteer of the Quarter. Thank you very much, Tori.
Thank you, Tori. Commissioner Jogway, did you have another recognition?
Yes. So second one for Employee of the Month of December, we have Jamie Wong. She's been with the city for 5 years and is a zookeeper. So we're nominating Jamie for Employee of the Month for December 2024 because of her outstanding effort to encourage holiday spirit across all departments of the zoo. For the past few years and again this year, Jamie has organized an Elster gift exchange for the holiday season. She is inclusive of all staff members, regardless of department, and all holidays, regardless of culture. Her willingness to spread holiday cheer and encouragement during what could be a very busy time for some folks is noteworthy and appreciated. Jamie's cheerfulness and positivity is a great addition to the zoo, and our team is better because of her. Thank you, Jamie.
Vice Chair Zacarias Torres, would you like to read your employee of the month?
Sure, I have Angela Munoz. She's been with the city for 1.5 years. She's a program leader, and her supervisor is Lauren Burr. Angela has been a key part of the zoo education department since June 2022. She has consistently been a positive influence on the other staff and zoo guests. Her Lear Lunes program provides a weekly opportunity for Spanish-speaking guests to enjoy a story and new animal friend at the zoo. With the Zoo Eco Parks pop-up program, Angela has developed multiple activities and worked with colleagues to present this program to the public at parks throughout Santa Ana. Most recently, Angela organized and hosted a social hour for zoo staff, creating a coffee tasting complete with delicious treats, tasty coffee, and lots of fun facts about coffee types, how to taste, and pairings. Thank you, Angela, for all your contributions to the zoo and our community.
Thank you, Angela. I'll go ahead and read the next employee of the month for November. This is for Jill Sanders. She's been with the city for 16 years at the zoo, as a zookeeper, level 2. Jill Sanders is being nominated for EOTM for November, the employee of the month for November 2024. Recently, the zoo was asked to assist with the evacuation of several animals in our local mountains due to a wildfire. Not only were they asked to evaluate the animals from their home, we needed to provide temporary housing for them at the Santa Ana Zoo and provide care for them as long as they were here. Once the call was received, Jill went into action preparing for temporary zoo housing. She relocated some zoo animals to make room and prepared new spaces to accommodate a variety of large animals that we do not normally have at the zoo. The animals arrived after dark and our doors were no longer large enough to fit the transport crates. Jill quickly engineered a chute out of chain link panels and metal fencing so the animals can safely be unloaded. Without her quick thinking and actions, the animals would have had to remain in the undesirable conditions for an additional amount of time, something that none of us wanted. The evacuation animals were at the zoo for 3 weeks, and during that time, Jill worked for an additional 29 hours of overtime to help with their care. Coming early and staying late to make sure that they were well cared for in addition to her regular duties. The evacuation was stressful and used a lot of resources, but Jill was able to manage it well and would have not happened as smoothly without her. So Jill is being recognized for Employee of the Month. Thank you so much, Jill. Would you like to read the next one,
Sure.
Vice Chair?
This one's for Rudy Hernandez. Rudy is a Parks and Recreation Community Service Supervisor. I would like to nominate Rudy Hernandez for Employee of the Month in recognition for his exceptional leadership, dedication, and impact within the organization. Rudy has consistently gone above and beyond in his role, notably stepping up to lead several key initiatives that have significantly enhanced their department's visibility and engagement within the community. Ruby took the lead on the Dia de los Muertos celebration, overseeing the planning and execution of multiple community workshops leading up to this vibrant and successful event. His efforts not only contributed to the event's success, but also fostered a deeper connection between our organization and the community we serve. In addition, Rudy successfully completed the Recre Auto project and presented it at various special events and locations throughout the city, ensuring its broad exposure and positive reception. Ruby also played a pivotal role in activating the Lawn Bowling Center, transforming it into a dynamic venue for both internal and external groups. His initiative enabled various organizations to host both indoor and outdoor events, which has brought newfound attention to the Lawn Bowling Center. As a result, it has become our inaugural special event location, further strengthening the city's reputation as a hub for diverse and engaging community activities. Ruby's outstanding contributions demonstrate not only his work ethic, but also his passion for making a positive impact. His leadership and ability to elevate each project he takes on have set a high standard within our team, and he is truly deserving of this recognition. I agree.
Thank you so much. We have two more. One more employee of the month for December. This is for Steve Rowe. They've been with the city for 1 year and they're a recreation specialist. Steve is being nominated as Employee of the Month for a variety of reasons. Although Steven is less than 1 year into his role as a recreation specialist, he's managed to create a positive work environment and build great working relationships with those he supervises as well as his colleagues. Community engagement usually shared the following. I've been so impressed with his work ethic and energy. Steve regularly goes above and beyond as an excellent example for his peers and staff. He is kind and approachable and has attention to detail is what makes him a great leader. Not only does he serve his community well, but he ensures he creates a positive environment for his team. He has immersed himself in the community culture, takes initiative to enhance center operations and programming, and finds ways to keep everyone engaged. Steve deserves this recognition for displaying professional qualities that define a great leader. As mentioned above, he has a strong work ethic, regularly taking initiative, meeting deadlines, and consistently delivering high-quality work. Steve is dependable and follows through on his commitments. He's adaptable, always embracing change while remaining flexible. Steve is the ultimate team player, collaborating well with his immediate supportive team and beyond. This recognition is a testament to Steve's hard work, positive attitude, and positive impact he has had on our team. We're grateful for his contributions and proud to have him as a part of the athletics team and as a part of Parks and Recs. We want to congratulate Steve on this well-deserved honor. Finally, this next one is to be a volunteer of the quarter for Joe Ortega. Mr. Ortega started volunteering as a head coach for the city of Santa Ana in 2022. In that time, Mr. Ortega has coached for the youth flag football and boys basketball program. He has dedicated his time to guide and improve the sport fundamentals of each of the youth participants on his team. Mr. Ortega won the Coach's Sportsmanship Award for the 2024 flag football season. His unwavering positive attitude and his commitment to putting the team first is what truly sets him apart. He's a great role model for our community who consistently demonstrates exceptional leadership on and off the field. So if y'all can give a round of applause for Joe for being a volunteer of the quarter. Great. Commissioner Diaz. Great. Okay. Thank you all so much for the recognitions and for employees and the volunteers. There were quite a lot we did have to cover November and December. Okay, so next on the agenda, we have public comments. This is time for the commission to receive comments from the public. We will not accept additional requests for speaker cards once we begin the public comment section. So if you have not already, please submit your requests to the recording secretary in person or over Zoom. Recording secretary, do we have any public comments or public speakers?
We do not have any participants.
Okay, thank you. We will be moving forward. Next on the consent calendar are items 1 through 4, which are the meetings of the regular minutes of our November 22nd Parks and Recs Commission meeting, as well as the meeting on the 24th. The third are excused absences, and the fourth item is the meeting schedule and locations that we discussed last time. Are there any items that the commissioners wish to pull? And if not, can we have a motion to approve the consent calendar 1 through 4?
I saw motion to approve.
Wait, do we have a second? We have a second, okay, recording secretary, can you please conduct roll call?
So that was a motion by Commissioner Wu and second by Commissioner Diaz, and that was to approve the consent calendar. So Commissioner Jogway,
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Diaz,
Yes.
Commissioner Reyes,
Yes.
Commissioner Wu,
Yes.
Vice Chair Torres,
Yes.
Chair Herrera,
Yes.
motion carries.
Great, thank you so much. Now we will move on to informational items of the agenda. I will turn this over to our Deputy Director, Tim Pagano, for the next informational items.
Thank you, Chairperson Herrera. Good evening, everybody. Tonight we have 2 informational items for your pleasure. The first will be taking place with our Public Works Agency Park Services group. To give us an update on parks maintenance, George Acevedo will start us off. Good evening, Commissioners. So like always, I wanted first of all, I wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving, but I wanted to always give you guys a good insight of what our team is doing to continue to make our parks safer, cleaner and safer. So for our community, so please go ahead and I have a presentation that we've kind of taken some pictures of our guys and our teams supporting some of the projects that are going on in the city. As you know, sometimes to make our projects complete, there's a need for additional resources, and to fill that gap, our staff kind of steps in and conducts some of the work. So, and screen, you'll see this is Jerome Garden. This is a before picture of what Jerome Garden looks like now. You know, our community gardens are award winning, and one of the reasons is kind of the maintenance that goes on behind the scenes. About a year ago, before the Encanta event, our team kind of took the initiative as one of the projects to essentially redo the entire garden with the exception of the trees. So, you know, we mobilized our backhoe, we mobilized our staff. So that was before, this is what they're doing. You can see our guys, part-time, full-time general maintenance workers are out there. We kind of took out about a foot of soil from the previous garden, laid down a fabric barrier, and then I don't know if you guys visited that lately, it's completely different. Go ahead. And here it is. It's now about a 6-inch layer of new DG. And the thing I mentioned before, the Carpenters Union was a partnership with the Carpenters Union that built the planter beds. And I think the community gardens team, led by Woody, also partnered with, just mentioned it too, I think it was a VA group or a veterans group that built a gazebo space, essentially to have a space where the community come out, you know, pick their fruit, the garden, clean up the garden, and then just have a space to rest. So as you can see, you know, great improvement, and this couldn't have been possible without the help of our own in-house staff. Next, and soon to come is it's going to be our first, or no, we had it before, but it's a new and improved barrier-free playground. But once again, like I mentioned, this is not possible. The project is not possible to the size and magnitude without our general maintenance staff. You know, once again, we took the lead to do a lot of demo, a lot of the irrigation modifications to now accept the new playground. You can kind of get some hints of in the first picture of the new playground coming in. It's that green and yellowish one on the left picture. So that's a glimpse of what's to come. That one, just FYI, it's trending to be complete by the end of January. We'll keep the commission open, the commission updated on the ribbon cutting. So, you know, I don't want to share too much to kind of spoil the finished product. But once again, this is not possible if our general maintenance team didn't take the lead on doing significant parts of the scope. I know in the last couple months, I've been reporting that we resurfaced our tennis courts. We've now moved over to our basketball courts. So as you can see on the screen, this is Memorial Park. New resurfaced basketball courts with our continued green and blue theme throughout. So we're comfortable saying we're about 95% complete with our resurfacing of our basketball court. So as of now, we're 100% with our tennis courts with a pickleball overlay and our basketball courts. So then we'll hopefully move on, budget permitting, to our handball courts and then some volleyball courts that we have in the city. This one, okay, I wanted to show some sad news, but also some positive that we're going to mitigate. As I think I've mentioned it before, our city, not just our city, the Southern California is combating epidemic with our shot hornbill disease, our pests that are infecting our sycamore trees. As seen on the left picture, Santa Ana winds really kind of pushes that or stresses our trees and pushes the line with the health of our trees. So we've lost a couple of trees throughout this last couple of years, but our commitments to continue being good park stewards and our commitment as it speaks to the Parks Master Plan. We're attempting to, as we replace one tree per one, plant one tree as we lose one tree. But in this case, on the Wilson Park, we were able to do a 2-for-1. So we planted 2 trees as we lose one. So this one, we planted 6 new trees. And our goal is to, have a diverse species of trees. We did some jacarandas, we did some crepe myrtles, we did some pines, some oaks, a little bit of different species to be able to handle, some of the some climate changes, just become a really resilient tree forest in our city. So this is at Morrison Park. I'll continue to show images of other trees that we've done that. So in our next slide, sometimes we always want to pat our security team, our park inspectors, for working with our code team in making our park safe. And one of the pictures here is as people who are not doing park activities in the parks, we want to make sure that we make them safe for the people who need to be there and want to be there and are there to recreate. So this is just one of many examples of how we're being proactive on making sure to keep our park safe. And with that concludes my park maintenance updates. I'll pass it on to my colleague.
It's so nice to see. It feels like it's been a while. So anyway, very happy to be here. Very happy to see you all. As you know, I'm Susie Ferjanik. I oversee the park planning division of Park Services. And our mission is to increase and improve our parks, open space, and recreation opportunities for the community. And the big thrust of what our group does are capital improvements. We look for site acquisitions and funding opportunities. And along with that, a lot of other stuff. So this first slide, every red dot represents something that we're doing in a park. Could be a concept planning, it could be developing plans for, it could be something under construction, or it could be something that's recently been completed. So I think this is a good representation of just how much we have going on, how we are spreading the love around the city and trying to touch and improve as much as possible. So the next few slides, I just want to highlight a couple of key projects that are pretty exciting. This is Gerardo Moet Park, and we have all known that this is coming, and it is now complete. And we are having our ribbon cutting next week on Wednesday at 3 p.m. And we hope to see you all there. As you know, this is about a 1 acre park in a really, in a neighborhood that really needs, a place to go. And so in this little area, in this tiny little parcel that's just under an acre, we've managed to squeeze in a skate park, a basketball court, a playground, fitness area, and even a little bit of grass and picnic. So we've got a lot of bang for the buck on this project. So we look forward to seeing all to christen it and open next week. Santa Anita Center, the park, as you know, has been under construction for a long time now, and we are now focusing on the center, which is really starting to take shape. All the walls are up. Next week, they're going to get started on the roof structure. So I like this picture because there's a rendering in the front. I know that it's kind of hard to see, but the rendering is the exact same vantage point as from where the picture was taken. So if you can kind of imagine what it's going to look like, look at the rendering and then look at the photo. It kind of gives you an idea of where we're going. In January, we are looking at conducting a tour for the neighborhood association. At the last neighborhood association, we offered that up to them. They had a lot of questions about what it was going to look like, what it was going to be. Tell us about the recreation program. Tell us about what the POW program is going to be. And we said, you know what, why don't we schedule a tour? We'll just have you all out on site. We'll bring everybody and we'll talk and we'll show you visuals and we'll answer questions. So I just wanted to plant the seed with you all. When we get that date and time, we will share it and we'd love to have you join us. Santiago Park Phase 2. This is the section of Santiago Park that runs from Main Street to the log cabin and playground, which is right next to the gas house area that we just completed. We're ready. A notice to proceed was just issued for this work. December the 9th is the date, which means that the contractor must start work by January the 2nd. And it's 120 working days for this project. So we're looking at a June completion. This project the construction for this project actually, and the design for this project was fully funded by the State Coastal Conservancy. And it's about a little over $3 million for this. And this is mainly the passive area of the park. We're gonna replant a lot of those riparian trees that we've lost. There's going to be lawns, picnic, some areas that overlook the creek. We're going to do some additional brand new lighting. We're going to upgrade all our lighting. We're going to have a nice monument, one of our new iconic monument signs at the Main Street entrance. And there will be some additional trees and landscaping and lighting around the playground area. And so I think we all know about this one. We've seen these slides before, but I couldn't help but bring them back again because it's getting more and more real as we go. We've had a number of meetings with the general contractor. We're having our official pre-construction meeting on Monday. They're looking to issue the notice to proceed on December the 16th. We're looking at about a 16-month construction period. So towards the end of 2026 is when we're hoping we can open. We expect that the contractor is going to start mobilizing this month. You'll probably see construction fencing go up. They're going to use the parking lot on the east end along Flower Street as their staging area. There's going to be a construction trailer There's probably gonna be construction equipment floating in and out of there. And I imagine we'll know more on Monday when we meet and look at the construction schedule, but I imagine that we're gonna start demolition and dewatering in January. So it's pretty darn thrilling. We've also had a number of meetings with Mural Colors, who is the group that is going to be working with us and the contractor to help protect, preserve, and restore the Chicano Gothic mural, which is now gonna, when this is all done, it's gonna actually be on the outside of the pool. So everyone visiting Memorial Park will be able to enjoy it, not just those folks that are on the pool deck. And it's going to be pretty exciting. So, again, here's just a couple more images. Centennial Dog Park. So yeah, all this excitement and how do I put this? Everything that we do is super exciting, and in the end, it always works out. Sometimes we don't always share some of the obstacles that we encounter as we go. We just opened bids on the dog park, and I had included this slide because I was prepared to come and say, yay, we're getting ready to award a contract in January. And what has developed is the low bidder last night withdrew their bid. And we also had 2 bid protests by the second and third low bidding contractors. So we're currently sifting through all of that, hearing what they, what do they have to say? What are they protesting about? And so we have to field that and make a determination of how we move forward.
Can you explain that protest? What did you mention? What does that mean?
It means that contractors have an issue with another contractor's bid. And so they're challenging it. They're basically saying, I challenge this bid that you have submitted. So for example, there's something called self-performance, where general contractors themselves, as the prime bidding contractor, they have to do at least 50% of the work. I think one of the reasons that there was a protest is because one of the contractors is actually subbing out more than 60% of the work. So and we have to look at that to see, okay, what are their subs? What is the work that they are subbing out? Is it considered a specialty trade or not? If it's considered a specialty trade, that comes out of the equation. So there's, that's one thing that could come up there. There are certain documents that need to be submitted at time of bid. Sometimes they may not all be there. Sometimes we have a requirement that they submit a certain number of references within a certain time period. If they don't do that, these are all public documents. They can be seen by all the bidders. So they're all scrutinizing it because they all want the job. So they are all looking. They're looking for a loophole, a hiccup in a low bidder. And so we have to sift through that to see where there's relevance and where there may not be. And then sometimes, they'll bring up a good point and we'll have to determine that a contractor is non-responsive. Sometimes we'll consider a protest and say, we hear what you're saying, but we don't consider this to be substantive. So it's always on a case-by-case basis, and we have a number of folks reviewing things on the construction team. We also get our city attorney's office involved so that they can weigh in. So it's really unfortunate. It delays things. We're seeing it more and more. I guess everybody wants to do work for the city of Santa Ana. But this seems to be coming up more than more, and we're learning to expect it.
Great, thank you for the explanation.
Oh, you're welcome. And so that's all I wanted to highlight, and I'm here to take any questions if you have any.
Do we have any questions from the commission? Commissioner Jogway?
Is that in conjunction with the purchasing department as well? Like for the bids?
These bid, no. For larger capital public works project, there's a separate bidding process that we do through a platform called Planet Bids. And our team uploads everything to Planet Bids, and we manage the bid advertisement period, and then as soon as we open, we turn everything over to the construction engineering team and they take it from there.
They'll submit like the RFPs and everything too, do that?
Yes,
All right, cool. That was it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you.
Vice Chair Secretary Esteros?
The sign that we're going to put at Santiago Park, is there anything we're going to put in place to help ensure that it doesn't get stolen? Or that
We're gonna try something different. Instead of doing a bronze plaque, we are going to do powder coated steel. Same colors, from a distance, it'll look like a bronze plaque, but when you get up close to it, you'll see that it's steel, which has no recyclable value. We'll see. Well, hopefully George is going,
And just as a general comment, I wanted to see if there was any way to make these ribbon cuttings a little bit more accessible to the community. The one for Gerardo Millet Park is at 3 p.m. I work until 5:30, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other community members that live near that area that want to be involved and be there for the ribbon cutting, unfortunately might not be able to. They might not be able to have to take time off from work. Currently trying to see if I'll be able to take the time off from work to attend. I really would love to attend, but it's kind of hard when some of these events are like in the middle of the day like that during work hours.
Yes, we hear you. And we've had a number of conversations around this, considering work schedules, considering our councilmen's schedules, considering children that are in school. And I know this event was originally scheduled for the lunch hour, and then it got moved to 3 p.m. The recreation team had been orchestrating and coordinating the ribbon cuttings, but now they are being coordinated by the city manager's office. But we absolutely will communicate to them. We'll just put it all out there and see if we can't continue to work towards a, better solution. I don't know whether, Saturdays or, but we hear you, and yeah. So hopefully you can get the day off.
Great. I second Vice Chair Secretary Esteros. Maybe that's something we can bring up to the council. And maybe a policy change or a practice change that is driven by the council. I wanted to thank you all for the presentation. I think it's so great to see the changes and the quality of life really changing before your eyes. I wanted to the city council was considering the grants pass legislation that is a Supreme Court ruling that now allows for easier access to public right of ways. And I know that our parks are, one of the big issues around grants pass was the clearing of public spaces areas. And so I know that, do you anticipate a practice change based on the new policy that the city was looking to adopt, or is, I'm sure the relationships may change a little bit in terms of how kind of, public safety is like responding to things that are happening at the park. So I'm just curious to see like if you have any initial thoughts on grants past decision or our policy change at the local level, how it may have an impact at our parks.
So that's a great question, because I guess once we get direction from council, be helpful, but like anything else, right? Another tool in our toolbox, it's helpful. It allows us to be more proactive and be able to enforce not just park rules, because we're doing that, the park rules now, but just have another tool for our law enforcement teams to be able to just have more teeth in their citations and ticketing and things like that. So it's, we're hopeful that we were able to come to a consensus and have that in our back pocket. But I mean, it sounds promising. I think the bigger picture is giving PD that tool, just to be able to be more I'm not saying they're not proactive, but just enticing to do something about when we call them.
Yeah, and in my personal capacity, in my professional capacity, I work a lot with like houseless populations, renter rights, affordable housing.
Yeah.
So I'm very much like following Grad's past decision, and so I feel like these are these are issues that have already been identified by the city, and we're kind of already discussing it. It's like it's politics around how to address this issue, but I know with the change in the law, there's going to be a shift, and so and as a commissioner, I'm interested in kind of following the data and kind of seeing like, this is like a major, US Supreme Court ruling. So I'm curious to see how it impacts our parks. But thank you for sharing. Okay, I don't have any other questions or comments. Oh, one more. Vice Chair Secretary Flores.
Can you tell me more about the school pavement that is coming in to our basketball courts?
It's not the cool pavement. Oh, so that's we're gonna grant. We got going from
It's community development, CDBG.
grant. That's essentially to combat the heat island effect, right? As we're trying to keep some of the heat from reflecting back into the atmosphere. This cool pavement's new technologies that absorb some of that. So we've got a grant to do Angels, Madison, Campesino, the two parking lots at Madison, Campesino, and then the basketball court at Angels. So that's kind of what the cool pavement is.
Cool pavement into other parking lots,
I think this is kind of, we say like not a pilot, but we want to
like initial.
try to see if it works. We don't want to adopt something if it's not going to be fruitful. Well, so yeah, that's kind of what
That sounds really interesting. Looking forward to seeing how that comes out. And, I saw that there was, I think it was like accepted for the sun sales. When did we know if it got approved for it?
You're talking about the shade
shade
structures over the
structures.
playgrounds?
Day that we did not get the funding. A lot of the funding, a lot of the successful applications were in small cities and rural areas. We're looking into getting more information about why, so that if this were to cycle around again, we can be more competitive.
But we're still looking for like other grants that may be possible to.
Yeah, that's part of our team's, one of our team's missions is just to continually look for funding sources for everything.
And then future projects will have them already included into the budget.
Yeah. For example, the park that we currently have on the boards for 10th and Flower Park, we'll have that built in. Gerardo Millet Park has them installed as part of the project. Yeah, it's gonna be, in the Thornton Playground. So it's just a new practice.
How about some of the older parks, like El Salvador Park has had that cement, and it's really very hot during the summertime. And can't that be addressed too with some shading and added into the budget, or is it? I would like it to be, because as a parent who sat there for not very long, it's really needs, and it's not really used during the summer because the kids can't play out there because it is like being a steam bath too. So I would recommend that.
Courtyard
Yes.
to the center? Yes, we've been talking about this for years, and we actually got a proposal from a company for shade canopy to cover the courtyard, and I was actually gonna talk to Tim because I know that there's a big grant, a huge grant that you folks just got, and perhaps there's a nexus with that. Because I know that could potentially fund improvements beyond programming. So we hear you loud and clear.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
we're working on that, but thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jolly?
I'd like to ask also about Sandpoint Park, the basketball court. Will that one be looked at for the court? The addition of, because I've actually played on a few with that surfing in Irvine especially, and it is pretty nice. It feels a little bit cooler. It seems to work from what I've seen.
You're talking about the cool pavement or the surfacing?
The pavement.
Cool pavement, 'cause
Yeah.
we did resurface that basketball court and the tennis court. So that was freshly resurfaced, and we added the volleyball nets there too, so that's a new amenity there.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then the second thing there seems to be like an infestation of like some bugs, like some fleas. Is there any way that can be like sprayed, or I don't know, who would that be like?
Yeah, that's well, it depends, right? If it's mosquitoes, we got vector control, which is the county run mosquito abatement
Okay.
team, but now that you bring that up, I'll have that looked at.
Just to
Is there a
look at.
particular spot or just in general?
Yeah, around the basketball courts. Yeah,
Okay.
I would say. Also at Beaumont Coral Park, similar. That one is it's just a field,
Okay.
the area over there as well. That's it. Thank you, guys.
Commissioner Joyce?
I wanted to ask you, what is the update with the Cypress Tree Fire Station?
It's in the building department being plan checked right now, and we're still looking for construction funding.
But have plans been approved? Like the architectural plans or?
They've been approved by the Historic Resources Commission, and we're in the process of getting the building department approvals
Okay,
to make it permit ready.
okay, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Great, okay, last question, Susie, do you know when we'll have another park meeting opportunity?
Yes. Open Flower Park. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. We're in the process of setting up a sunshine meeting for January. Because we're going to be doing a general plan amendment and a zone change. And as part of that meeting, we were going to reach out to the community and start the conversation about park naming. So that was going to be our first ask, inviting comments in. And I believe from there, we were going to work with Tim and his team to do a social media blast.
Okay, for the 10th and Flower, great, okay. Commissioner Diaz?
I feel that it is important that we embrace the community. And when we embrace the community and we ask them to participate in changing or give their ideas and give their time, I feel that it's not appropriate, or we should not actually listen to our constituents. Like, I feel like we don't listen to them when we suddenly change the name of. My suggestion would have been, just a suggestion, for COG to have given at council an explanation as to this is the participants, which is perfect, because I really appreciate what Marina has done. I love it. But I also feel that just a small explanation to council. So I really like what Marina has done at Salvador Park. I love it because, you know, it moves. You know, it's just kind of like it connects. I do like that. But I think that we should have added that name into just a survey. So that way the residents could have, you know, just had a small input. I like this, you know, yes, this is also something that you guys have suggested. So I think it would be fun to ask your council members what other names they feel like it should be included in the survey. So the day of the voting and stuff, the council members also feel like, you know what, I also gave an input. And the day of, they don't completely change something. So that's just like a comment in regards to embracing the community, but at sometimes embracing the council members. It's kind of like we all work together. Then at the end, at the next council meeting in the future, I would truly appreciate if our if Hog could have, you know, give us more explanation as to this are the numbers the community voted for. This is, you know, I think it's important to that way. It's kind of like us being clear with the as to how things happen and how their vote is counted. Just an FYI.
Sure, yeah, and thank you for that, Commissioner Diaz. We have done that as we started our crowdsourcing campaigns for our parks, at least the last 3 that we have you know, named, and we try to get the early aspiration of the council members. Sometimes they participate, sometimes they don't. But even throughout the process, which starts here, you know, because we bring the crowdsourcing vote recipients, the top 4, and as long as they meet the Santa Ana Municipal Code, we bring them here for that discussion and your recommendation. The recommendation then goes before the planning council, and they either affirm your, you know, recommendation and then carry it forward to city council. But at the end of the day, what we've seen is that it's still the city council's discretion to be able to decide on the name at the dais, right? And so even if they were to participate early on, and let's say, for example, they didn't see their particular representation and aspirations carry forward because they didn't get the votes or it wasn't duplicated enough, they, as city council, and in their position, they still have the ability per our process to be able to make that recommendation. And again, sometimes it can be affirmed or sometimes it can be voted down. I think recently, I think it was a unanimous vote to add I think it was La Artista's Artesia Pilar Park. So that's kind of where we're going right now. But I understand. I mean, that's part of the internal conversation that we've had as a team is we want this to be meaningful for the community and we want their voices to be heard. But there is that one, you know, I guess privilege that the council does have to be able to evaluate the recommendations from Parks and Rec, the affirmation of Planning Commission, and then for them to still decide whether or not that's the direction they want to go in. In this particular instance, it was more of an addition to the affirm name. In previous examples, we've seen a complete change of the name, you know, and so we hear you, and we'll certainly try to come up with a way to maybe involve them more on the front end. So maybe that this doesn't happen towards the completion of the actual naming process.
May I say, though, that the city council did go back to the community and there was a discussion with all the names, and especially the recommendations. So there was a community input with the neighborhood and discussion. So you did a very well job and everybody loved the name. And there was quite a lot of vocal people in the community. So I feel he has always been very responsible and improvements within the community, and we haven't done anything in such a long time that has been done by him himself. So Jonathan Hernandez has been a great city council person, and he did take the recommendation of the community in itself. So
I think the fact that we successfully named the park, you know, and again, it's our 3rd park, at least in the last 3 years, and we've got a lot more coming. And again, and much to your point, Commissioner Wu, the community's embraced this, right? And it's not like we've seen, fallout or anything like that. Or and again, if we received a ton of comments saying, hey, what happened, but for the most part, I think people just want to participate and, be able to put in their input and everything like that. So the fact that we're having that dialogue with the community, I think is just a testament to the process and everything.
And you can see that the involvement, because before it used to be the numbers were very low. The surveys, people, filling out the surveys, the amount of people, it was very low, like maybe 50, 35. And I see with Gerardo, the numbers increased, and with Dr. Shabila, it's also increased. So it's actually, I'm happy to see that a lot more people are getting involved.
Now we just need more parks, Susie.
Oh, also, how about the plan on Washington Square? Did we appoint any names, or are we going any?
Probably don't need this, like a loud voice. So we've been directed to do a feasibility study, and there was Measure X money approved for that effort. And we have to go through an RFP process to bring on a consultant to do that. The RFP was drafted, I want to say 3 or 4 months ago. But it's been going through a series of review and revisions by the assistant city manager, and I believe both Councilman Hernandez and Councilman Becerra were given an opportunity to review and comment. And where it is right now is I've been directed to take the RFP, everyone's comments, and meet with the community development director and the principal planner in planning and building to have a further discussion. And I'm hoping, and that's scheduled for next week. And I'm hoping that maybe at that point, I can wrap things up and release this in January. But that's where it's at. But yes, more parks, more parks.
We've had a lively discussion tonight. And then also now to throw my 2 cents in on the naming of the process. Yeah, because I know that I also watched the planning commission meeting, and where I believe we had named even us trying to come to a consensus on the name included Pocket Park. And then at the planning commission, that got stripped. And then it went to the council and, got changed there. But I think I don't want like these changes to discourage us from continuing the engagement with the community. Because it's like, well, we changed the last minute, the public doesn't, so it's like this is how the sausage is made, right? Like this is the process, and we as commissioners are appointed. The council, we just had an election, right? And people were reelected, and so it's just like, hey, how things are going is how people are supported. And so unfortunately, unfortunately, is how our process is. And I just wanted to continue to encourage you all through like so much of the investment in our parks that I don't know when the next time this may come around, where we're gonna have the opportunity to name parks. And so we just have new development of parks. So I wanted from the initial drafting of these, as we have done here in the commission, to review some of the projects, to the whole process of developing a park, having the community involved in the whole process, I think is important. So I didn't want that to be discouraged. We're going to move on to our next. Thank you so much for the staff report. Deputy Director Pagano, if we can give our next staff report.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chairperson Pereira. Good evening again. And like George said, I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday recently. I'm here to provide you with an update on our Parks and Recreation update. So I'll go through the sections like I typically do. And then I'll highlight a few of the projects that we have currently taking place and what we're anticipating moving into the future. For our health and wellness section, I believe George mentioned it prior in his presentation, but we did have a volunteer celebration of Veterans Day in which our community gardens team partnered with the Mission Continues. It's a veterans group to kind of just encourage a day of service in remembrance of our veterans. And it was very successful. A lot of good work that was done over at Jerome Park Community Garden. Our Wilderness Club has taken an excursion to the Limestone Canyon. That program continues to be very popular and it continues to be well attended. Our Roosevelt Walker Community Center has really kind of, I think, tapped into something really special, going all the way back to the Dia de los Muertos event that took place. Prior to that event actually taking place, there was community workshops that happened every Tuesday, and it was incredible to see both our supervisor, Rudy Hernandez, and his team just cultivate a really warm and engaging space for the Roosevelt Walker Pacific Park community, and inviting arts and crafts projects that really supported the Dia de los Muertos. So it was a series of workshops that basically led to the actual event, and they are trying to capture that same lightning in a bottle with our winter activities. We just had a handcrafted holiday card workshop that took place this last Tuesday on the 3rd, and we are also having a gingerbread building workshop, which will be taking place on the 17th of this month. So we would encourage all those folks that are interested to take a look at our website and see if they can join those two activities as they are being planned during the holiday season. Our special events section has been busy as always. We had our Native American Heritage Festival at Thornton Park on November 16th. Again, very well attended and a lot of variety of performances. The community really embraced what was taking place out there, and we were very excited to be able to provide it again. Plaza Navideño took place on November 23rd at Plaza Calle Cuatro, and it was a resounding success. We had our tree lighting ceremony with our 33-foot fir tree that came all the way down from the Pacific Northwest and was beautifully decorated. We had performances from the community. We actually had the opportunity to partner with Disneyland this year, which was something of a late-breaking opportunity, and Disneyland loved the setup, loved what we were able to do for the community, and wanted to do a lot more with us into the future. They're already talking about participating with us for Fiestas Patrias next year, so that's really exciting to develop that connection. We're very appreciative of the downtown businesses for their contributions of the tamales and all the other elements that they were able to provide, and it really added value to the overall event for the community that was able to show up. In addition, we have want to highlight two other special events that are coming up. This Sunday on the 8th of December, we have the Fiestas del Mariachi event that is taking place at the Santa Ana Stadium. Doors will open at 5 p.m. Great lineup is planned for all those in attendance. Tickets are still available, so if you're interested, please go ahead and take a look at our website. There's links to purchase tickets there, and I think it's going to be a wonderful treat and reflection of what our Santa Ana Stadium can do in terms of non-athletic events. And in the future, we have our Tet Festival that is being planned currently. You should be seeing some news probably just after Fiestas del Mariachi as far as save the dates, but that is tentatively planned for January 25th. And that's in collaboration with the public library. We're really excited about bringing our Tet Festival back to Centennial Park this year. Our senior program has been very busy lately. Lots of excursions that have been taking place. Most notable would be our excursions to the Citadel Outlet excursion and also our excursion to Old Town San Diego. Packed house, everybody was really enjoying our trips and are really looking forward to the holiday celebrations, which for both centers, Southwest and Santa Ana, will be taking place, I believe, next Wednesday. Excuse me. Yes, next Wednesday, 12/11. So we're going to be wrapping up the year over at our senior centers with our holiday celebrations. So we're really excited about doing that. For athletics, our boys basketball practices start 12/16. That's for boys K through 8th grade that are going to be participating in our basketball program. And we completed our first Turkey Bowl tournament, our kickball tournament on 11/24. Teams came out and competed and had a really good time to kind of get ready in preparation for the Thanksgiving holiday, and everybody that participated had a really great time. In addition, I'd like to highlight the fact that our athletic session, the reason why Executive Director Scott is not here today was because he was supporting our athletic section. They have been recognized for a Golden Shield Award from the Southern California Municipal Athletic Federation, which is a professional development organization that we follow from the Parks and Recreation profession. And we, as the city of Santa, are being recognized as the Golden Shield Award. I'm not sure what the reason behind it was, but we're very active in hosting tournaments, basketball tournaments, baseball, all that type of stuff. And so I'm sure SMAF is, recognizing the amount of effort that the city of Santa Ana and our athletic section puts forth to be able to hold those tournaments on the side. We've had a series of youth programs that have been taking place. Our Kids Night Out program that took place at El Salvador on November 15th. It was a turkey trot, so it was a very active Kids Night Out where kids were able to kind of take a run around El Salvador Park in the evening time and then do a lot of other activities, as the night progressed. That was very well received. We had about 34 participants that took place in our Kids Night Out. We also had our Fall Break Kids Camp, which took place 11/25 to 11/27. Again, lots of arts and crafts, lots of activities at El Salvador Center, and kids had a good time spending their Thanksgiving break with us. And for those that miss the Fall Break Kids Camp, we have our Rare Break Kids Camp that is taking place at Salgado Community Center on 12/30, 12/31, January 1st, and January 3rd of this year and next year. So we wanted to put that out for the public in case they were looking for any last second child care during the holiday break. Our teen excursion program has been very active as well. Last month, they went to Riley's Farm for apple picking. And despite the fact that I personally as a teen wouldn't have been drawn to apple picking, we had full buses and they actually had a really good time. I think it was one of those experiential things where, okay, let's go out to this farm, and I think it's in Banning somewhere. And they took the bus out there. It was cold. It was actually forecasted to snow. So I think that was really exciting for them. No snow, but lots of apple picking. They learned how to make cider and everything like that, and they had a really good time. So this month's excursion, which is actually taking place on Saturday, is a little bit of a contrast to apple picking. Our kids are going to be going to Disneyland, so they're going to be able to go and enjoy the park while it's all decorated for the holidays and everything. So that's going to be taking place this Saturday. An update from community engagement. Our Cultura will be our winter spring Cultura will be out in late January, so be on the lookout for that. And that will cover all of our programs through, I believe, May, and so make sure that you're on the lookout for that. And we're really excited about this issue because there's a lot of great activities, programs, and events that are being planned by your zoo services, library services, and of course, recreation agency. A couple projects that are on the horizon. There's some work that's being done over at Madison Park and Angel Park in our partnership with the University of Irvine. They have I guess a program or initiative called Play for Learning Landscapes. And for the last 3 years, been working with UC Irvine to install experiential, I guess, playground equipment. And so for Madison Park, you're going to see a outdoor board game called Parkopolis, which is interactive, that encourages the kids, to have a different experience every single time based on the cards that are there and, the elements that they're interacting with. In addition, there's going to be 2 overlays of our basketball court that are going to support math skills. So one's going to be fraction ball and the other one's going to be number ball. And so the game is based off of where you shoot the ball and how you score. That's how you're going to be able to increase either fractionally or by numbers for it being age appropriate. So those installs are, there's some work that's being done over there right now. And then in very short order, we're also going to see 2 installs over at Angels Park. One is going to be a Loteria game, which will be interactive, and the other one is going to be a How Tall Am I? So different animals, different heights, all that type of stuff. So kids will be able to, and families will be able to interact with those really soon. Very exciting news today. Our Parks and Recreation team collaborated with the Kiwanis Club of Santa Ana. We were able to be shoppers with kids from Adams Elementary School and Monte Vista Elementary School. So the school district, in collaboration with Kiwanis, selects, I think, 60 kids both today and tomorrow to go shopping for their families and for themselves for the holiday season. And your Parks and Rec team was able to go around and help shop for the kiddos and help them with their lists and everything like that. And it's one of those things that, you see those smiles and, that's really what charges our batteries as Parks and Rec professionals and everything. So we did it today and we're going to be doing it tomorrow. So we're really happy to be able to collaborate with the Kiwanis Club and also the school district to be able to be a part of that experience. Very exciting news. Santa Ana has just been named one of 6 communities to receive a Mosaic mural project. This is something that we applied for, and after an application and an interview process, we were selected one of 6. I think there's 4 that are in Canada, and I think 2 that are in the United States for this particular quarter. We'll do it each quarter. So it's America Connects is the organization. Essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to be working with the surrounding Jerome community center participants and neighborhoods and everything like that. And so essentially what we do is we have 200 tiles that we're going to be, each individual is going to be able to paint in a certain palette and everything. They'll scan what they paint, and that will then go up and be fabricated in a 6-panel wall that will essentially be affixed to the east side of Jerome Community Center. And it's going to have a mosaic feel. And the great thing about it is, and I was just learning a little bit more about it, is not only are 200 of our participants going to be able to put these mural tiles in the overall mural mosaic, but there's other individuals from all over the country that have also contributed. So there's going to be at least 200 Santa Ana participants, but in addition, you've got people from like New York and Kansas that have all contributed a tile too. So I think it's going to be a really special project, and the unveiling date for that is going to be sometime in February, the middle of February. So we'll have more information on that when we get a chance. Yes, sir.
So to participate, do you have to be a Santa Ana resident around Jerome or just a Santa Ana resident?
So what we're going to do, because Jerome is probably one of our most active parks, we're going to target seniors over the Southwest Senior Center. We're working alongside Monte Vista Elementary School so that their students can also have an opportunity. Our participants from our youth sports program that come out of Jerome will be there, in addition to the folks that participate in our contract classes. And in addition to that, we've also reached out to local artists to also contribute to doing a tile and working with our community to make sure that, they learn something about the art process and everything, but also are able to work alongside artists that are homegrown here in Santa Ana. So it is a very acutely focused program. So that's why because it's going to be in the Jerome area, that's why we wanted to kind of highlight the programs and the participants that usually are operating out of the Jerome Center area.
So, thank you.
You're welcome. I think that was it for that. Susie made mention of this, but on November 19th, our contract with the California Department of Social Services was approved by the City Council. This is what I've been sharing with you for probably about 2 years now. It's about 3 years worth of work at this point, but essentially we entered into a contract to provide after school programming to the city, and in doing so we have the opportunity and the potential to earn $6.69 million each year for our providing that service to the community. It's for low income families, there's qualifiers that come into it, so it's really going to benefit and impact those that really need the service and everything, and we're really excited about it. We've actually named the program the HERO program, so it's healthy enrichment and recreation opportunities. So if you will have HERO sites, and Hiram, our technical assistant and graphic designer too within the Parks and Recreation Department, has done a phenomenal job of actually creating a logo and brand for our HERO program, which we'll be debuting in future meetings and everything. So that was approved on the 19th, and we are looking at what our next steps are. So next steps would be hiring a site director. The site director has certain certifications that are needed in order to license facilities. So we're going to go through the licensing component pretty soon. Once we go through licensing facilities, we'll be doing participant intake. We're hoping by March. And we've identified Garfield Community Center as being our first HERO location. So more details to come on that, but we're very excited that we finally got through that threshold and we're ready to start enrolling kids into those programs. I believe Susie already mentioned Gerardo Millet Park ribbon cutting ceremony next Wednesday at 3 p.m. We would really like it if you guys could come and get the day off. But with that being said, those are my updates for the Recreation Division, and I'm here for any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, Deputy Director. Do we have any questions for our Deputy Director? Commissioner Diaz?
I do have a question. What is the process for the seniors to participate in the field trips?
Sure. I believe we have a very vibrant senior population over at Southwest. I think we're actually busting at the seams in terms of participants and everything. But you do have to be a member of the senior center, so you actually have to submit an application, and your application needs to be on file and everything. But once you're a member, you pretty much have access to be able to go on the excursions. Yes, Commissioner Reyes.
And that's part of the process to be a member of the senior center. Also, there's so many of us now. Now they're having to I guess add rules or a little bit of, because this is what's happening, okay? There's a group that continuously every day, we're there for the activities, or whatever. And there's a group that they became a member, but they don't participate, but they only come the day of the, that we're gonna, they have to go to the, for the parties or the futures or, events like that, okay? So now, there's a lot of, members that are there every day that have to be on a waiting list because it's already full. So now, they're getting smart. So, the staff, because they know, and they said, unfortunately, if you don't participate on a daily basis, at least, we can't have you coming only when the field trips are, and have the daily participants, not go because it's already full. So yes, you have to be a member, you have to participate, I mean, there's so many things to do there that there's no way that you can't participate. But yeah, that's one of the.
So let's say, so this is really good.
Thank you. Sure, yes, yeah.
This is really, really good to hear to hear that there's more seniors that want to participate. Is there any way that you guys can allocate a little more funding? So, because I seen how good it gets, like the parties. But, in regards to field trips, you mentioned there's a waiting list. Have you guys considered or looking for a small grant, looking to a seniors grant to take more people to the field trips?
Yeah, we're always looking for additional funding so that we can expand our programming. That's something that we're actively pursuing at all times. I think we're about to enter into the budget development process, and I know our senior services section last year got a really good boost at the dais from the council to be able to have these excursions and everything. And I think if what we do, and part of the reason why we have our community engagement section is we're trying to highlight that those dollars are being spent well, and the excursions are well received by our seniors. And again, the participation is absolutely wonderful, and we want more seniors to come out and hang out with us. I think to your point, the next thing that we're going to have to start talking about is probably another senior center, because again, if you go to Southwest on any given afternoon, it is hopping. And I think the Santa Ana Senior Center is starting to get to that level too. So any additional funding, whether it be from the council or from grant opportunities, we're always looking for those opportunities.
Because if I recall correctly, the Cypress Street Fire Station, it was going to incorporate a senior program in it, and perhaps that could be, added, so a little more funding could be allocated to the Cypress Fire Station. That way, the process of getting it renovated moves a little bit faster.
I think we should also recognize that the city was coming out with the budget communications, and people in the city of Santa Ana should come out and ask for those monies so they could be appropriated. So it is the community itself, I'm hoping somebody's listening here, that they go to these budget committees, which is very important. That's why I participated, is because I see a shortage in different programs that I am very wanting to support. And I really support the senior program and the after-school programs, is because that's how I survived as a working parent, with the after-school programs at the parks. So I would ask for more money in those avenues, because I think they do help not low-income families, but middle-income families, because it is very expensive anyways. So like I said, please, people, go to the budget committees and appropriate the money in the right areas that you really, really need in the community. I'm sorry, I had.
Another community, another senior center will be helpful, because we don't fit anymore. We can't participate in all the classes because we don't fit. So we have to take turns. Either if you go to this class, then you have to wait, and if there's room, you can go in. If not, you can't, because there's so many of us. And the senior centers are just I've been there a year and a half, and the more I'm there, the more I see the need of them, because there's so many of our seniors that that's their second home, even for me. And the staff, is crucial, because they're wonderful. They treat you with respect. And they're very kind and very helpful. And they go beyond, to make us happy, at the parties, the one coming up. And they make it fun, and especially for all these seniors that are, some of them are lonely. for them is wonderful. And it's something that I think I'm so grateful that our city is, taking care of us that way. And yeah, we're gonna have to need another one. And just overall, I see how it's difficult to manage a city. I see, you guys are all busy and because I'm here, I get to find out and learn and that's why I try to come. Even though I have things to do, but I try to come because I try to absorb as much as possible so that I can share, communicate. And with that, I recruited 2 more participants. They're coming, I think, next month, I believe. So we're gonna have 2 more joining us from. So yeah, thank you. Everything that you guys are doing it's just wonderful. I'm so pleased and happy to be here and learn, the projects and everything of our beautiful city, and so.
Yeah, I will just reiterate Commissioner Reyes's comments. A lot of the success that we continue to see through our senior services section is due to Juan Lara's leadership, Rocio Mesa, Jennifer Serena, Marina Cisneros. They do a wonderful job, and all of our part-time team that are over there. It takes, being in recreation for as long as I have. I've never had the opportunity to work with senior programming, but I know the kind of heart that you have to be able to do it and do it well. And it's a testament to their effort and what they do for our senior population.
You need a lot of patience because some of us can be difficult kids, grown kids. So I take my hat for all of them. They're wonderful. Thank you.
Any other comments from the commission? Commissioner Jogway?
Is there a way to maybe use like Salgado Center? Like I know there's a room to the side that you can maybe use for some senior programming, or Jerome. I know Jerome's a little smaller, but something like that instead of kind of in the meanwhile if you're looking to make a new center.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great suggestion. I think one of the things, especially with the Heroes program that is coming in, those are spaces that have traditionally been used for after school programming. So it's one of those areas where, like I said, we are very fortunate to have all of our programming doing very well, and us having that direction where we're being able to expand programming. But at some point, our expansion is going to reach its K capacity because we don't have the facilities that our community is demanding, at this point in terms of the programs and everything like that. So I think we have a few ideas of what we can do in the future and everything, but it's going to depend on your continued advocacy at the commissioner level, telling the story to all of your friends and whoever you run into, as far as just that support for Parks and Recreation and for park services, because we want to be able to do more. That's why we're here. That's why we love what we do. And we really appreciate your guys' support and when you come out to our events and everything like that. But good idea. Again, that's something from a strategic standpoint. Yeah, we certainly could if we prioritized our senior population over that youth population. It's kind of that fine balance between offering something for everybody. So,
Commissioner Diaz?
Perhaps doing it like if we were planning to do it at the Cypress Street Fire Station, like part-time during the day for the seniors, and then after the kids come out of school for the kids at the different centers.
Sure, I'm sure Susie could probably talk to this too. Is that's kind of the trend within our field, is seeing either campus centers where you're having multi-generational programs taking place, because like you said, in the early morning and afternoon time, our seniors could be exploring that space, and then it can shift over into more of a youth or contract class effort and everything like that. Fullerton Community Center is a good example of that. I think you have seniors, library, youth programs, contract class opportunities, and all that type of stuff. So that's kind of a model that we've seen throughout other communities and everything. And hopefully with, continued funding and continued opportunities through grant funding and stuff, we'll be able to explore those in the future as well too.
Sorry, I just had a blank moment. Vice Chair Zacarías Torres.
I am glad to see the study hall area opening up at Roosevelt Walker. Do we plan on expanding that program to other community centers? And do we plan on expanding the time? Because I see it's until 5 p.m.
Are you talking about our collaboration with the library?
No, I saw that.
There may be a programming component that we're currently doing right now, because of the main library being shut down.
Okay.
We've had to work with our library colleagues to find locations for them to office out of and provide some of the programs that they would traditionally provide out of the main library. So if you're just speaking of a study hall specifically out of Roosevelt Walker, that is probably a collaboration with our library, in which there's open hours probably after 5 p.m. on certain days, to where anybody can come in, get some tutoring, get some help, and all that type of stuff. That's the one I'm familiar with. I mean, we certainly have contract classes that come in all the time, where we have contract instructors that, you know, provide different areas of specialty. But if you find it, I can certainly talk to it a little bit more if you wanted to talk more specific. In terms of doing it at other centers, I think right now Roosevelt Walker is kind of that pilot program, because we know that the library will be with us for a little bit of time while the main library shut down. I think that will be kind of it will be helped by the fact that Delhi, the library expansion program over there, will assist with some of our library colleagues being able to go and office out of there. But like I mentioned before, you know, the fact that we've all identified that these quality of life services, recreation, library services, and zoo, we're really trying to understand what our areas of expertise are, so that we can pour them into each of our respective centers. So I can see that as a trend, you know, taking place in the future for a really long time.
Okay, thank you. I can't find it, but I'll find it, just because I remember when I was a student, in the household I was living in, there was like 7 people there, and it was really hard to study. So I would go to the Lantern Grill to study. They had late hours. I know it's not possible to do something till 1, but since then, on social media, on a couple groups that are about Santa Ana, since then I've seen a lot of other people posting, other students posting, because I know I'm not the only and the last resident that is going through the situation where you're trying to finish college and you're living with the full household, and it can be hard to study and hard to find a quiet place to study. If I lived in the area where Roosevelt Walker currently is, so I was really glad to see that, and I would have probably taken advantage of that. And since I've seen other students mention that and post and ask if there are any other facilities or places that students can go to, because they also live in big households. They don't have other places that they could go to. I found it. Thank you. There's no page number, but it's in the health and wellness section. And it's study hall, free evening community programming. So I just wanted to reiterate how having these kind of spaces are really important to the city, as we have people that are trying to finish their education and they have these barriers that come up. And it would be amazing if the city would try to tackle something like this, because in the city right now, we don't have a lot of places that are open late, or maybe some residents have like internet connectivity issues, and going to a local community center that's in your own neighborhood would be really helpful to someone that's struggling to find a quiet place to study. Another comment I had was about the Native American Festival. I wanted to see if, I wanted to ask if for that event, we partnered with any organizations that are connected to the Native American culture.
So the Native American Heritage Festival was a RFP, a request for proposal event. And so we went with the organization that we worked with for the prior years. Native American Heritage Festival, just because that was written in the contract when we created the scope of work for that particular event. They're charged with making connections with Native American or Indigenous people groups to build out the program for that. So those RFP events we're learning, because I think that's one of the things that as a department, there are certain things that we can do. It also becomes difficult to do every single event, where especially during the months between, I would say, almost June to November, you're having multiple major events every single month and everything. And so as a department, we realize that our special events team, they have a bandwidth that they can operate under. And especially once you get to fiestas, that is a heavy duty special event that requires almost all hands on deck type of thing. But you still have Mid-Autumn after that, and then you have Native American Heritage Festival. So in order to make sure that we protect the bandwidth of our special events team, we work with a third party that says, hey, we can do that. And so we give them guidance, and we certainly share with them our expectations of what we expect to see at these events. But that is one of them, is that they connect with Indigenous peoples and Native American tribes to build out the program and everything like that. So yes, that did happen this year.
Okay, because I believe that same day there was also an event held at the Heritage Museum. And I wasn't able to attend, but I have friends that attended both. And the event at the Heritage Museum was a lot more well attended.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot more programming that was connected to the local Indigenous people. So I just wanted to see if that was something that we could maybe go towards next year, or for future Native American events, if we could make sure that we can make it a little bit more authentic, because from what I heard, it didn't really have that authentic feel.
Sure.
At the city event. It felt like more like it's a city planning organization, and they just put something together.
Sure.
If it's something representing the city, I think that we should really try our best to be as authentic as we can, and try to connect with the local culture.
Understood. I'll make sure to incorporate that into our notes for next year.
And then I also wanted to ask if the computers that we've been waiting to be delivered for the esports program have been delivered.
I believe they have. I think we're waiting in a queue with our information services department. I mean, again, information services is certainly busy. And to have them refocus their time on getting our e-gaming system set up, they probably prioritize that probably about mid to low. But we have them delivered. It's just a matter of them getting programmed at this point. So we're still making progress on that, and we hope to debut our e-gaming center over at Garfield relatively soon.
And then we'll be promoting the esports program. Do you think we'll be able to find some more funding to be able to have an esports program at maybe every community center?
That would be difficult because it's about spacing issues. I think we're very fortunate at Garfield. There was prior funding that allowed us to create a computer lab over there. And because the PCs that were over there, they were all Macs, right? And so at some point, Macs, they come out and, get obsolete. Thank you. So we had the ability to kind of pivot, knowing that they became obsolete. And so that's where we invested a lot of money in the e-gaming. So it was already the setup there for that type of, activity and everything. We have to go center by center to try to be able to identify. What we are doing is we're trying to make connections with Century High School, who has an e-gaming program. I think there's another there's another elementary school that is actually starting one, or a middle school that's starting one as well too. Nova has a e-gaming program as well. So what we're trying to do is have our little hub and then work with all of these schools that are starting to adopt that. So we're basically expanding, but we're not having to recreate what we're doing over at Garfield and everything too.
Okay, because I think Roosevelt Center also has a new computer area.
Mhm.
So it would be good to look at other centers and see if
Sure.
they are able to host something like that, because esports is would be a good career for our youth to get into.
I agree, and that's the perspective in which we're taking it is, it's that disguised learning where on the surface I get to play video games, but underneath it, it's enrichment, and it's that disguised learning where there are career pathways, and we've already worked with two groups that I know of where we've had those conversations about how we can introduce our kiddos to SpaceX and to the Department of Defense and other, areas that are heavily reliant upon technology and everything like that. So it's just a matter of getting them in, starting the program, and then associating ourselves with that group. And then also we've made connections with the Cal State Fullerton e-gaming team and the UCI. So they're very anxious to start working with our kiddos as well too. So yeah. So there's a lot of groundwork that's been done. It's just, let's just get the equipment in and everything. So
Great, thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other comments from the commission? Deputy Director, I just have two things. I want to talk about, I did watch the school city council collaborative meeting. Was it this week? It was this week. I know that you all are working on a joint use agreement. Don't forget about GGUSD, and more specifically, right there, Rosita Elementary. I think I mentioned it before with Commissioner Jogway right there, Rosita Elementary, next to Rosita Park. That kind of parking lot gets closed, and so during like high season, the street, I believe it's New Hope, Hazard gets gets packed with the cars, and so I know you were having that meeting. And I was like, oh, let me it reminded me of that convo that we had, that hopefully we can be able to use Rosita Elementary parking lot for the park.
Understood.
And then the second thing is, you were talking about the budget. The last 2 years, the city does the sunshine ordinance list of meetings that we have, but we always get missed for Parks and Recs. So maybe if we can advocate for maybe the youth commission or and or the Parks Commission to be incorporated as an opportunity for the public to make public comment during those opportunities.
Would you be in favor of maybe a joint meeting to where both the Youth Commission and the Parks and Rec Commission could basically be in the same room and be able to take that input from the public?
Take the input. And I think it's just more to increase, because like public comment, even during our commission meetings, a lot of folks don't come. So I don't know how the Youth Commission is, but to the extent that we are bringing folks into the commission meetings, they're providing input into the budget. Every time this past budget, I was like, dang, I didn't catch it soon enough to be, because I know the city, the budget office, they are the ones that are coordinating the meetings. And so to the extent that I was like, oh, I won't have to go through all these other people, but hopefully we can work internally through Parks and Recs and communicate to have something for Parks and Recs specifically.
Sure.
And those are the two comments that I had. Thank you so much for the work.
Of course. Thank you.
Were you going to say something, Susie? Oh, okay. Okay, let me go back to my script. Okay, those are the two informational items that we had for today. Now are the times for commissioner comments before I hand it back to our deputy director for their comments. Commissioner Jogway, District 1. Or what question? Commissioner comments. We're at the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
If there's any last comments that you have,
Yeah, I had
closing comments.
I had one. Do we have any programming for kids for financial literacy?
So interesting that you brought that up. Part of the HERO program One of the elements is for us to try to keep as many of those dollars within our organization. So we're currently working with the state right now to figure out if we have the ability to do that. And I've already pitched to our finance department to do a financial literacy enrichment program, and they're all for it. So that will be an element of our hero program. We have had other financial literacy programs that have taken place here and there, almost as like specialty camps. I think the most recent one was this last summer, and the previous summer at Roosevelt Walker Elementary School. It was a student-led project that basically worked with the kids that were at that summer camp to take them through some financial literacy. So yeah, that's on the horizon. It's there, but we're really looking forward for our finance department to really expand their horizons and share all their fun goodies with our kids in our after-school program.
Because I've participated in some of those. I've actually led some before. And I know certain outside companies, they might be willing to donate their time, to do that, as long as, obviously they go through all the screening and, there's reasons for doing it, but for the good of the kids and all that. So hopefully that could be something. I think it's important for their parents and also the kids as well. So
I 100% agree, and I'll definitely encourage our teams to figure out a way to implement that as soon as we possibly can.
thank you.
I know the church. That how to keep your wealth, and when in your old age, and the wealth that you want to provide for your children. So I think those are two really fantastic ideas.
Or to get people that do like estate planning attorneys to maybe talk to some of the community about estate planning and wills, trusts, for kind of that same thing, and make sure that their assets are in the trust. If they pass, that it gets passed to the next generation. It doesn't get missed or go to probate. And then the probate's a terrible, long process, and then they might lose it, so stuff like that. You can do it in Spanish as well. So that could be something.
Thank you.
The probate one, and the trusts and financial literacy would be also very, very good for seniors too. Or for the adults.
Agreed.
Very interesting.
Commissioner Wu, do you have any commissioner comments?
Networking that you have with Disney and also the Kiwanis, I just want to highlight that Kiwanis as fund has been working within the community and provided quite a lot in the park and recreation. I also wanted to comment that the Assistance League is also gives Christmas gifts and has been working very hard so people want to participate in volunteering. The Assistance League has also been a great supporter of the programs of Park and Rec and the community in itself. Let's see. I had a few things in mind and now I'm kind of losing it and all, but I just want to mention that. Also, I was reading here with the picnic reservations. Picnic reservations, is that different than special event reservations? What is the pricing on? In that?
Yeah, it's very different because picnic reservations are probably at I think $5 or $10 per picnic reservation, but there are parameters to it. I think that you can't exceed more than 40 people, and if you do, there's additional costs that are associated with it, and typically that is a private celebration that again, if we were to have a picnic, we would go with our family members or extended family members, that type of thing. For special events, that's considered almost like a public event, right? And so there are certain parameters that we identify as special event elements, right? So if you had, if you were crossing streets, like for your posada and everything like that, there's traffic considerations. If you want to bring in bounce houses or entertainment or food, those all require permits from outside agencies and everything like that. So there are certain triggers that it's almost like a flow chart, right? If I just want to have 20 people in the park having a good time, sharing some food, picnic reservation. I want to have that same group, but now I want to add, I want to bring in food, that's going to be made at the park. Oh, now we're having talk about health permit and everything like that. So there are certain elements that we identify that as soon as you say, I'm going to bring this, gotcha, let's take you over to our special events department. And now you're talking with them rather than with our facility reservations team. Mhm.
Okay, I just wanted clarification because there is a group that wants to do a party there. But I think they want to have more than 100 people there, so I didn't know there was, mostly theirs is gonna be picnic. But it's a little larger than that, so.
Yeah, and again, I think that they have the ability to, it just, for every, I think, 20 people that you go beyond the 40, there's an additional cost. And then what we really do is like, well, what do you plan on doing there? And if it has anything that would like amplified sound, if they wanted to play music and everything, that would be, that's probably the lowest level of in our process that we would identify, oh, that's probably a special event. So yeah, there's a lot of different elements that we take into consideration.
Okay, thank you very much, thank you for all the information and the good job you're all doing. Thank you.
Great. Commissioner Reyes, would you like to do you have any commissioner comments? Great, thank you. Commissioner Diaz?
I do have a comment. I want to say thank you to Public Works for putting together the My Sarana app in Spanish and Vietnamese. Because it's very, very helpful. Yeah. So that. Now you're gonna be ready because you're gonna get a lot of reports. And my other comments, it's the events you guys have had have been wonderful. I had a really good time at the Fiesta Plaza Navideña. Well, all the events, I had a great time. But I also wanted to let you know that I'm extremely happy to see all the different programming that you have at the Roosevelt Walker Community Center. And I see that the more programs you have it's very well attended. So I thank you for doing that.
Vice Chair Zacarias Torres?
Good evening. I just wanted to also highlight Orange County Soccer Club, who has sponsored a lot of our city events, and they also sponsor after school soccer programs that I recently learned because I'm a OCSC fan. Unfortunately, they didn't make it to the last round of the playoffs, but there's always next year. I'm also excited about seeing the opening of Gerardo Moet Pocket Park. I walked around it last week, and with all the fencing, it's amazing. I can't wait to actually walk in without everything closed up. But my concern was, where are people going to park for the ribbon cutting? Is the plaza across the street letting people park there?
So we're making quite a few arrangements. We're in talks with the I guess lease manager of the shopping center across the way. In addition, we're also providing shuttling from Madison Park. So if folks want to park over there, then we will have shuttles that will be transporting so that they can just get dropped off at our.
Okay. Last week, I parked at Madison and just walked over and walked around. So it's not that far of a walk. To just walk it either way as well.
Sure.
And I'm also glad to see that the after school programs are coming back, because I remember when I was working at the community garden program, I would see the kids in after school programs, and sometimes they would come over to the gardens. So I'm really excited to see that we have a place for our local families to take their kids after school, because they need to be somewhere after school. So I'm glad that we're keeping our kids in Santa Ana productive, and we're offering them different programming that maybe that they might not have available at home. And I just wanted to wish everyone happy holidays, and thank you all for being here. I really appreciate everything that the city's been doing.
Great, thank you all so much, Mike. For my commissioner comments, I just want to also wish everyone a happy holiday, happy new year. We're here at the end of the year. This is our last meeting for the Parks and Recs Commission for the year. I also want to, we just had an election. You know, and so, for some of us, we're able to remain here on the commission, and so I'm really happy for people just participating in local government. And so, and you know, our federal government is a little scary at the moment, personally, and I just want to share with the public to, especially particularly the immigrant community, to not feel so scared in our city. And that, you know, definitely look to your city leaders for support during this time. You know, the next 4 years, we don't know what may happen, but I know here locally, we are working strong to really provide for our city, and make sure that our residents have are able to have their needs met and they're able to work here. Okay, cool. So those are just the comments that I had. I will now hand it over to our deputy director for their comments.
Thank you, short and sweet. Happy holidays, happy new year. I know I speak on behalf of my colleagues here, but we're all very appreciative of your time and your advocacy for our respective areas and everything. And I appreciate you two very much as well. All the times that I get to work alongside of you, it's been a very good rewarding work experience. So Abigail, thank you for being here and sticking with us. Hiram, you too. Really appreciate it. But with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Chairperson.
Great. Okay, so we've come to the end. I hereby adjourn the December 5th, 2024 Parks and Recs Community Services meeting at 7:32.